Hello. Yeah, I hope now sound is okay, but I am not sure if our friends are still waiting there. 12 minutes. If somebody is still waiting, maybe I somehow did not notice this part. It's very bad. Today we had a slight problem in our hall, so my attention is going here. Is any of our, yes, somebody is there. Can you confirm if sound is okay? Okay, somebody has joined now. Hello. Is it okay? I get a green light here, but last Monday also we were getting this green light, but throughout the hour there was no improvement. Hello, my friends in the webinar. Is it okay now? I don't get that answer. Only when we watch on YouTube. Um, can you see me as well as hear me, please? Can you confirm? Hello? Only audio is okay, but the slide is no slide will improve. Now I am not in slide mode. So now I think this part is okay. But in our hall we have a problem. Can I ask you to bring this small chair here? So you can see the slide here on my laptop. No, I think just bring that small chair, one chair each. We, can you not see me now? Let's see. Okay, just maybe I have. I am not in sharing mode. We see the slide, but not you. Oops. Okay, this is slides. Now I am in the sharing. Now let me ask you. How is it now? Is it slide or? Now I stop sharing. Now is it okay now? Oh, they don't see me. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. I hope it works. I'm sorry we lost about 15 minutes. And we had a slight problem in the hall also. But let's move on now. But one good thing is what I was talking up till now was mostly in the nature of review. I did make some new comments on. So now I'm going in my slides. So we were looking at the Ashtanga Yoga, and I was saying that our practice part corresponds to Ashtanga Yoga, where if you remember in Patanjali Meditation 101, as well as in 102, we have talked our approach is 5 steps. So Yam and Niyam, we have assumed our practitioners are morally upright people. And then our 5 steps begins from number 3, which is asana. So then it is body posture, which we have adopted Sukhasana as well as Siddhasana. Then we do pranayam, which is disciplining our breathing with 4 phases in each cycle. Then we recite that sound 5 times or so. Om. That is as if instructing our mind to disconnect from the external world. So that corresponds to Pratyahara. And then we focus our mind at the third eye. That corresponds to dharana, concentration. And then we suggest to move on into meditation. That was our fifth final step. And then we build up a prototype as if you are walking into the cave, or you are walking into the sky, or you are watching a bird flying into the sky. These were different prototypes we have used. The point I'm trying to make is what we have been practicing has been in, in line with the Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga from limb number 3 to limb number 7. And number 8 is Samadhi, which in a simple term is when I am in disconnect with my mind, that me, the soul, the owner of the body and mind, is in link with that supreme soul, what Patanjali is calling Ishwar. And that interaction between me and Ishwar is the step of 8, Samadhi, which we haven't discussed much in Patanjali Meditation 101. But now we are familiar with Ishwar Pranidhan, etc. So we will be discussing this now. So I wanted you to understand and appreciate that our practice of meditation has been according to Ashtanga Yoga. That's why we called it as Patanjali meditation. I have no idea. Maybe there are people in the world, but I don't know anybody in the world who is really following teaching or meditation exactly based on Patanjali Yoga. I have no idea. I used to teach in England for quite some years. There were one or two very enthusiastic people, and they traveled to India, Rishikesh, many weeks and months. They came back and they told me that there is nobody, they didn't find a teacher who was teaching what I am teaching in the very first few sessions. Even that learning, they went around several parts of India for 2 months, and they said, no, in 2 months, nowhere they were able to gain that learning what we do in, say, Patanjali Meditation 100, which is just for 6 sessions of 101. So, there is all this is a lot of smoke, but much less substance. Okay, then I was commenting that now we are trying to jump start, so to say, for common people, with you people as our active ambassadors, and we are saying to the public that you come here just for 20 minutes, not for course or not for any big, structured, say, classes, etc. If you devote just 20 minutes, we will teach you basics of meditation. So that you have all practiced. Today, Kathy will deliver that again. And in that 20 minutes, we are saying the number three steps: disciplining the body, disciplining the breathing, disciplining the mind. But don't get confused. Even those 3 steps are actually these 5 steps. So when we say disciplining the body, it is number 3 of asana. When we say disciplining the breathing, it is pranayam. Again, our Sanjay said that we should not compromise on 4 phases in a cycle. We should not go just 2 phases. So we brought that in. So we are trying to teach 4 phases in a cycle, and abdominal or diaphragmatic breathing. So that corresponds to pranayam. Then what we say disciplining the mind, that is third step, actually that includes the 5, 6, and 7. But we are not loading a common person with so many 5 steps. Though we are saying just 3 steps, but we are including it because when we say recite the sound 5 times, that is number 5, pratyahar. When we say focus your mind at the third eye, actually that is dharana. And then we say try to get lost into nothingness. That is what dhyana. So what we in this course we are saying 5 step approach. When we are going to a common people, we are not saying it is 5 step, we are just saying it is 3 steps. But as a teacher of for those common people, you will know it that we are not making any compromise anywhere. And if somebody's meditation is good, he will himself be in samadhi. Like before this session started, I was discussing with Kathy, some certain time duration when you are in blank mind, then something happens. That's what, and we have seen it first chapter, Sampajnat Samadhi, Vitak Vichar Ananda Smita. So I am sure some of you are beginning to feel that when you are deep in meditation, you are really inactive mind, certain things are happening. So that is a individual experience, and you should all. That's the purpose of these courses. You should explore all that. Okay, we are now ready to move further. So this is statement number 30, second point 30. Ahimsa satya aste brahmacharya apaigraha yamaha. So these are 5 yam. And one more comment I made when this webinar was not working well, I expressed my confidence, though I have crossed over yam and niyam in my course of 101, etc. I did make this remark that it is my firm belief when I teach Patanjali meditation based on 3 to 7 in this slide, limb number 3 to 7, it is my belief that the practitioner, as he is learning meditation and is improving it, he in himself, there are transformation in mind that he becomes morally a more better human being. So there are 2 ways. One is I can say you become a morally good person, then only I will teach you all this. But I am taking an approach, let's teach him the whole methodology, and that will help him improve his moral contact. And this is, I must say, there are a lot of his students who have reported to me without my telling them what are in these 5 elements of yam. They have come back and told me that was unusual. One particular 18-year-old girl who was in 3 weeks, she came and she told me, I used to enjoy eating chicken, but now I cannot look at it. In 2 weeks of practice, something happened to her and she says, I cannot look at chicken. So, and this is one isolated example. So there are a lot of examples I have seen instances. So let's look at this yam, which is 5 elements, abstentions, which Patanjali is teaching us, don't do this, don't do that, don't. So it's slightly negativity, but this we say duties towards others in the sense it is based on our interaction with others. So let's see what are they. 5 terms in Sanskrit: ahimsa, satya, aste, brahmacharya, apaigraha. Ahimsa, mostly they people translate as not to non-violence, but I don't think that is good. I will say not to hurt others, because you can hurt others by thought, word, and action. So, in either, there is a whole spectrum of hurting. You may not even speak, but through a body language also you can hurt. So it is just total not to hurt others in all possible mechanisms. Satya is to truthfulness. Aste is not to steal, but I have translated Satya as not to take a course to, because I am using the common word of not, because that's what the language here is. Or is negation here. You can see ahimsa, aste, apaiga, etc. So because of that, these words, what is called naisamas in Sanskrit. Okay, not let's move on. So satya is truthfulness, Aste is not to take away somebody's belongings without permission, Brahmacharya is not to be in lust. I can see a person, particularly a person of opposite gender, in a lustful manner. And not to do that is Brahmacharya. Apaigraha is, it sounds very simple. That is ingenuity of Patanjali. Why does he put in as yama? Paigraha means material goods, etc., which we all want, material wealth, which is need of life also. But then he's saying not to go beyond legitimate limit. Even if you are following these four elements, if you are following ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, in a very valid moral means, if you are collecting money, then also he wants to put a limit. So that is very unusual, but that's what Patanjali is. Probably if you have too many belongings, your mind goes there, and then you will not be able to do meditation properly, because your wealth is increasing or decreasing. You are concerned with all those things. Now there is another thing which I don't think books are talking about, so I should highlight it. This is a very peculiar style. Ahimsa has its shadow on the following four. Satya has its shadow because this order is important. You cannot write it as five members of Yam is Apaiga, Satya, Brahmacharya, Satya, and Ahimsa. You cannot write like that. It has to be written exactly in this order. This is their style of what is called Anuvitti. Anuvitti means Ahimsa is more important and it has its shadow on Satya. It means I can be truthful, but if I am hurting somebody, that truthfulness can be compromised. I don't have to be, I can say somebody is blind and hello, Mr. Blind. I cannot call him like that. It is a truthful statement, but it is hurtful. So, ahimsa will take precedence over satya. And then ahimsa and satya will take precedence over this. Ahimsa, satya, and aste will take a precedence over this. So, this is the order. So, that was about yam. Let's move fast slightly. No, how come Hitler organized it in Germany? Here we think it's a bad thing. He said, somebody told me about this story. There's no reason not to believe it. He said that Hitler then said, who is a human being in the history whom we should express our gratitude? What? Then there was an Indian who came and who proposed we should pay our respect to Patanjali because he gave us a fivefold code of conduct, what is called Yam. So this is the oldest codification of a moral code of conduct. And then that conference decided, okay, that is the makes sense. So they decided to pay their respect to Patanjali. It was sometime in late 30s or early 40s. So in Germany. So that is it. Let's look at it. How powerful statement he's making about Yam. Jati, Desh, Kal, Samayan, Avichinna. So he's putting four parameters, Jati, Desh, Kal, and Samaya. I'll describe that. Then Anavachinna means they are not to be, these parameters don't affect the teaching of Yam. I'll describe all this later. Sarvabhauma, that means universality. Mahavyatam, great vows. So, this is not for a section of people or for this religion or that religion follower. This is for entire humanity. He is saying these five elements of Yam must be followed. And he's then so specific, Jati. Now, there is again confusion, at least in India nowadays. The word Jati is like caste, caste system. But jati here means the species, like Manushya. Human beings are one jati. Dog will be one jati. Cow will be, these are species. So what does this mean? For example, let's take ahimsa in the previous slide. Ahimsa is not to hurt others. So jati means if I am interacting with a human being, I should not hurt a human being. If it is a cow, if it is a horse, a dog, a fish, an insect, any species who is a conscious being, sentient being, who has consciousness, who can feel the pleasure or pain, that should not be hurt. So, now what he means to say is there is no reason to say that, yes, I will maintain ahimsa with respect to human society, but when it comes to my interaction with an animal, I forget about ahimsa. He is denying that possibility. Jati, this is not to be overtaken by jati. Desh means space, or somebody will say, in America I can kill a cow, but not in India. Then he says it is not possible. Space parameter will not intersect there, will not take precedence. Time, no, it will not take. Somebody may say, Sunday I can kill somebody, but Monday I cannot. He doesn't allow it. Occasion is like somebody can say, okay, today is my birthday. On my birthday I can kill, but not other day. So he is removing all those possibilities. So, and then he's putting these two strong words, Sarvabhauma, which is universal. It is applicable to all the human beings. All of them, entire humanity has to follow these. Mahavetam, if you want to take a vow, this is the one which you should take. Not anybody, anything else other than this. So that is a huge qualification to Yam. Now this is second limb of Ashtanga Yoga Niyama. What are injunctions or duties to self, which are a personal thing. Again, there are 5 members here. Santosha, Tapah, Swadhyaya, Ishwar, Pranidhanani, Niyama. So they also, again, there is a concept of inward journey. Shauch is more body cleanliness, external as well, internal body. Body is a huge domain. Is a contentment sense of that is more like a mental. And tap is our austerity, like some of our students, they come in all possibilities, they are always there, whether it is raining, cold, or winter, or summer, whatever it is. So, all kinds of dualities should not affect your resolve. You want to do it, you are steadfast. So, that is tapa. Swadhyaya is self study, always eager to learn, even after university education is over, new and new learning. And Ishwar Paridhan is that devotion to Ishwar or surrender. That, like in office, you work, you are surrendering your time, those 8 hours a day, to your manager or to the chief executive of your company, and you are very loyally, honestly, every moment is for that organization. Imagine somebody gives his life to Ishwar, that everything I do is for that Ishwar. And since Ishwar functions in this manner, I have aligned my life in that manner. Ishwar does everything for benefit of others. So that is the highest level of Ishwar Pranidhan. So that is what is Niyam. Notice here, this is letter 3. So, this is more bodily, this is mentally, this is finally Ishwar Pranidhan is very spiritual, your own spirit. Yeah, that is what is surrendering, isn't it? So there is always this concept of from outward to inward in Patanjali's concept. And also I want to point out Tap Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhan, this was Kriya Yoga. So second point one was Tap Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga, this was the 3 only. And now in Ashtanga Yoga there are 8 limbs. And within 8 limbs, yam and niyam are 5 elements. 5 plus 5, 10. So there is a lot of codification for, because this is a common people, they need to be told, do this, don't do this and that. But so Ashtanga Yoga was for average people or lower third level. Kriya Yoga was for second level of people where the instruction is very minimum. Tap Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhana. And when we were in first chapter, which was yoga for acklist without klesh mind, it was just abhyas and vairagya, and then done as a efficient state. So that's where we are. Let's move on. Some more slides. Now he's saying this is applicable to both yam and niyam. So yam, there were two statements, 30th and 31st. 32nd was niyam, and now his two statements are coming, 33 and 34. They are on Vitarka Badhane opposites. So, he's now teaching us that you may have temptations to go otherwise, you know, other than the teaching of Yam and Niyam. But then he's trying to tell us, be careful and don't get tempted by those temptations. So he's saying how to do it. He's saying vitarka badhane, if those temptations are attracting you, in your mind you make an analysis of what is called pratipaksha bhavana. Paksha is if I follow a temptation, pati is, this is yam and niyam, Pratipaksh will be opposite of it. If I go in this direction, opposite of yam and niyam, then I am trying to tell my mind, look, if I hurt somebody today, maybe somebody else will hurt me, because that's what the whole society norm will become. Or if somebody's money is here and I don't bother to take it to the original, authentic owner and put it in my pocket, then maybe somebody will, when I lose my money purse, I will not get it back. So, you want to calm your mind, because your mind is getting tempted that this is a temptation, but this is not a very wise thing. At the end, I will be in problem, or if police will catch me, I will be put in a prison. So this is the, you are trying to convince your mind that opposites of yam and niyam is not desirable, not in your own interest. So English translation is, when opposites of yam and niyam strike, then one should ponder about their consequences. Where will it lead me to? And then he is very forthcoming. He is saying vitarka, the vitarka badhana. You remember it was vitarka badhana. Vitarka is opposite. So now those are opposites, vitarka. What are they? And now he's qualifying it. Hinsa there. Ahimsa was yam, first yam. So hinsa is opposite of that. Adaya means etc. So this is relevant for yam and niyam, 10 members. And he's saying opposites of that is like what? Hinsa, etc. Now he's making a statement. What is Pratipakshana? How should you convince your own mind? He says now there are three major terms here. Krit Kaita Anumodita. Now he's expanding the domain of Yam and Niyam. I hurt somebody is Hinsa, isn't it? Now this can be in three manner. Krit is I have personally hurt somebody. That Kaita is I asked somebody else to hurt me, isn't it? So somebody else did on my behalf. Anumodita is somebody else was hurting him and I was in a position to stop it, but I still let it happen. So implicitly I approved it. So he says, I have a role to play. If somebody has hurt, I have hurt direct. I have hurt somebody through somebody else, or I have let it happen that somebody else was hurting and I didn't use my strength and power and position to prohibit him to hurt. So he's saying, in all these possibilities, you are involved. You cannot get away from your responsibility. So he is specifying my role is very wide enough Krit is doing yourself, Kaita is getting it done through somebody else. Sometimes we get it done indirectly, isn't it? Anumodita is approving it and let it happen through somebody else. Then he says, how does all this happen? Why do we go in these wrong directions? Then he says, these temptations are basically due to three factors. Love is greed, krodh is anger, and moh is delusion. You are so much attached to something. Like our Mahabharata story, the whole thing is that Dhritarashtra was attached to Duryodhana. You know, he he could never stop Duryodhana. Okay, don't do this. Whatever was the demand of Duryodhana, his father let it go. So that was his moh. So one man's moh allows all kinds of historical twists in the life. Then, of course, we are familiar with the love and krodh. Due to the greed, due to anger, we usually, and due to this moho, we get into this. And now the level of this, it is sometimes very mild, sometimes it is moderate, and adhi is very intense, matya. So it can be mild, I am hurting, only a slight pinch, but sometimes it is moderate. I make a small bruise with a knife, and sometimes you kill somebody, like IS is doing, beheading a person. So there are all kinds of levels. So he wants us to be careful about this. And then what is the resultant of it if I do the wrong thing in this direction? It will give you pain, dukkha. And ajyan, it will be wrong knowledge. You will be loading yourself with unrealistic ideas, which is not true. And then he says, it is not that there is a limitation, anant phala, there is limitless. The pain and suffering and your what is ajnan? What should I say? Your your immaturity, or your ignorance, avidya, you know, or like with Kathy, we were discussing a few things before the session that were all wrongful knowledge. Somebody saying that in this modern time we should not do meditation. That is ajnan, that is lack of knowledge, wrong knowledge, isn't it? So these are the things will be happening, and anant phala means there is no end to it. You know, this is limitless. Iti. Pratipaksha Bhavanam. So, what was Pratipaksha Bhavanam here? He has described it in detail. That this is how you should convince your own mind that any wrongdoing originates from love, krodh, and moh. It will give rise to pain and all kind of wrongful notions, and that will be limitless. And though it could be in mild or moderate or in high measure, and though I may be doing it directly, indirectly, or approving it. So all those four factors he has put it. So let me read quickly that opposites such as hurting others, etc., are in the nature of acted by self, caused by self, and approved by self. They are due to greed, anger, and delusion. Magnitude wise, they are excessive, average, and mild. They finally lead to endless pain and ignorance or wrong knowledge. Thus is the way to ponder about consequences. Okay, here I saw the word hinsa. I'm just taking quick 2 minutes, so then Kathy will come here. I just like sometimes to play with these words. The Vedic words are very unusual. So hinsa came there. So look at these pairs. I have made some pairs here. So there is a word hinsa, and if you make an opposite, this is a phonetic language, the transliteration, it slightly becomes so. But if you pronounce it hins, how will you pronounce it from in the opposite direction? It will become sin. And sin is the word for lion. So, what they saw is they saw an animal who is very much embodiment of hinsa. So they say we will call him C. So this is not opposite meaning. The phonetically it is opposite, but meaning is very interwoven. So, well, certain words I recall very often in my talks and lectures. Ved, Ved is of course knowledge, and if you reverse it, it is Dev. Dev is a better, higher quality of human being. Of course, you become a higher quality if you have positive knowledge, which is what is in the Ved. So now we are going into Gayatri month. Actually, next week onward, I will be doing the meditation module, but not 20-minute, but 30-minute module, what I call Gayatri meditation. So Gayatri month will be brought in because now it is valid, because now you have seen Ishwar Pranidhan is very much part of Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga. So I will describe that. So in Gayatri month, this word comes Bharga, which I translate as bright light. And where is it? It is within me. Garbh means womb. So where my soul is residing, what I say about this thumb in the fist. So the palm is my mind and the thumb is me. And if you have an imaginary, like in the womb, the child is enveloped with a water balloon thing. If you imagine something is covering my soul, that will be my garbha. So what is it? My garbh, within the garbh is the bharga, is the bright light of that supreme being. But of course, I don't see it because I am always seeing the chitta. So I am unable to see that. So that's what meditation is. I delink from my chitta, my mind, so that I see the light which is closest to me, and that is what is bharga. So these prayers are very interesting. So Jai is a word means you will be victorious in life. So how if you do high order karma, and high order karma is yajna. So yajna, that's what is. This is a small uh, model of that yajna. Another word is rasa. Apo jyoti raso amritam brahma bhurva. So rasa is another word for that supreme being, which actually literally means the juice, the essence of something. So that supreme being is also called as rasa. And its opposite, not exactly, still is sara. Sara also means the rasa. And this world is called as sansara. Sansara is with suffix, with prefix sam, means well made. So this world, in this philosophy, world is not illusion and is also not bad in the sense I should forget about it. Abhyas and Vayag is there, but as I live it, I must participate and I must enjoy my life. So this is called a sansar because this all reflects his design. It is his design. So he is us, and this sansar is us. So in the context of meditation, this is very important. Pashyaka, pashyatiti iti pashu. So pashyak is to see. And this is the name of a rishi also. In Rigveda it comes Teyarusham Jamadagni Kashyapasya Teyarusham. So Kashyapa is one who is able to see the innermost part of us. So who is an enlightened soul actually. So of course, even an animal can see the outer world. A human being can see also outer world. But when you begin to see the inner world, and that's where the health is there. So we have some medical professionals also here. So this is a very peculiar aspect of Vedic philosophy that if your body organ system is working well, your digestive system, that you can eat and consume it, your metabolism is very good, that will give rise to your 100 years of life. But when you have the inner light, the inner fire, that you can see the inner light, which is what deep meditation will take you to, your lifespan can become 300 years. So what is happening is, of course, the link is uh, when somebody reaches that state, then he has an ability. I don't know if some of you are experiencing in your meditation that possibility, which I have sometimes expressed here. In meditation, when you come out, like we put our palms on our face, you might be noticing you feel extra warmth there. It gets warmer, as if something is happening in the inner system. Energy is produced, which is finally the thermal energy. So the idea here is when you are really a Kashyap, who is a better seer, the inner seer of Kashyap. Kashyap is who is ability to see, but innermost events are seen by one who is called Kashyap. Then at that point, there is a body mechanism where your vital fluids are working as fuel. So when you are in the physical health, the food you eat is the fuel for the body, and that the end product of the food is the vital fluid of us, isn't it? And when you become kashyap, that vital fluid is the fuel, and that gives rise to enhanced energy. Then your lifespan increases. So that is a Vedika. So that's all we have to discuss. I think I had an analogy in mind. Yesterday we had an election night, so as if Ashtanga Yoga can be understood as an invitation from the head of state, very quickly in 1 minute or so. So look at Yam and Niyam as you are a good quality of a person, that you have received an invitation from White House, isn't it? Not everybody receives an invitation from White House. So you are a good quality. Suppose now you have received an invitation, you take a flight, you are in Washington, D.C., in a hotel, and now you have an appointment with the President of the United States. So you sit in your car, occupy the driver's seat. That corresponds to asana. There may be a few more things in your mind. No, occupy the driver's seat. Then pranayam is like ensuring that all the things are okay. The fuel, the water, the wiper, all that. All the ensure that vitals are functioning okay in the car. Then there are many other things to do because you have come for one day in DC, some more things. But then you tell your mind, at this point, I just go to White House, and on the way back, I will stop at ATM, buy a gift for my daughter, this and that. But at this point, very important thing is remaining focused on White House path, isn't it? So you convince your mind, withdraw from all other possibilities, all other directions, which may be important, but are not relevant at this. That is pratyahar. Then you fix your GPS, White House address, and then you remain on that path. That is dharana. And once you reach there, you show your card or something to the receptionist. Then they take you to and they just don't take you direct to the president. They take you to another room, and then they say, president will open the door or you will be escorted there. So that is an empty room, isn't it? That is like dhyan. That's where at that point you are told any moment the door may open and you will be with president. Now imagine in that room you are just thinking nothing else except what will I say next? How will I shake hand? This and you are totally submerged there. That is what is dhyan. And then you are there face to face. That is samadhi. Just a way to explain, because now we are in Ishwar Pranidhan. So up till now, my focus was always inactive mind, disconnect from my mind. Now, next week onwards, when I bring Gayatri meditation here, we will say, I want to connect to her. And that will help me to disconnect from my mind. So the strategy will be different, and you will see why Patanjali is talking yam niyam. Thank you very much. Now I invite Kathy for next 20 minutes. Sorry, I have taken there may be a couple of minutes extra today.
Okay. Want me to sit here?
Yeah. If you want, you can use this.
Do I need to or do?
You are online now.
Okay. All right, and you'll keep time. Yes. Okay, now we will prepare for meditation. The goal of the meditation is to get into a mindless state. The first step is to be seated. You may seat with your legs crossed or in any comfortable position. That's the key, is to be comfortable. If you need to sit in an armless chair, that would be fine. Your hands can be either put in front of you, crossed, or you can assume any position that's comfortable for your hands. I suggest either open palms up or your thumb and forefingers together. It's up to you. Okay, so we'll relax, make sure we're in the good position, your shoulders are relaxed, and your body is seated. Okay, a second for that. The next phase will be breathing. We will breathe in a four rhythm cycle or four phase cycle. We'll start with an empty breath. We'll empty our lungs by breathing out. Then we will breathe in to a count of 3. We'll hold it for 3 and breathe out for a count of 6. Hold it for a count of 3. Breathe in for a count of, or hold it out, the breath would be out, and then breathe in for 3. This establishes a calming sensation by breathing out slower than you breathe in. Okay, and I'll help you with that. The next thing we will do the breathing for about 5 cycles. Then we'll go into an Om. We'll relax the breathing, go back to normal. It's helpful if you stay with your breath a little. Open your mouth. Simply say Om. I'll give you a demonstration to that. Then, once we finish saying approximately 4 or 5 Oms, we'll tip our head up slightly, focusing on the brow point and concentrate. Even though your eyes will be closed during all of this, at that point I suggest that you even try and bring your eyes to the midpoint of your eyebrows. This keeps your eyes from wandering. At that stage, we'll then go into the true part of the meditation, which is when we try and clear our minds and go into a mindless state. The purpose of the very beginning, all the way to that point, is simply to relax the body step by step, from the physical to the breathing to the mental, and then we're clear. Okay? So we'll start with an out breath. Breathe out. Make sure there's no air in your lungs. Pull your stomach in. That way you know your lungs are empty. Now breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 3. That's the cycle of the breathing. Now we'll do it together. Breathe out. Breathe in for 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3, and out. One more. Relax your breathing. Now we'll start the You'll feel it in your lower and it'll move up as you go. I'll give you a demonstration. Together. Tip your chin up slightly and focus on your eyebrow point. And then enter into your mindless state. Come out slowly.